to Drink and Paint. Tonight we are going to be doing Steven Seagal Into the Sun.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. To the blood bank.
Not as bad as some people have made it out to be, but it is definitely not as good as a certain someone wants it to be. So anyways, we are going to jump into it. I have my drink. I hope you have yours. And yeah, let's go on this ride. So the movie starts out, him and another gentleman are in the jungle. I want to say the other guy's a football player, but I'm not sure. He seems familiar anyways. So they're in Myanmar, and they're hiding out in the jungle. He's acting like he's got a sniper rifle. The other guy's got a scope. They're doing this whole thing where they're surveilling some gentlemen, and a younger woman goes off into the forest, I assume to pee. She kind of squats like she's about to, but she gets interrupted because some of these unsavory gentlemen follow her out there. So Steven Seagal obviously can't abide by that, which also they're like 2 foot away from him. So he jumps up, shoots one of them with his gun, which has a silencer on it, throws his gun down, picks up the bad guy's gun, and just unleashes on the other guy with no silencer, which breaks their cover. So now they gotta run. So whatever mission they had at the time was blown. Anyways, they run through the jungle, getting chased the whole time, just kind of blind firing behind them, taking out like 4 or 5 guys at a time. 90 people are shooting at 2 guys in the middle of a clearing. Nobody can hit them. Your usual textbook 80s action movie. And of course, as soon as the helicopter lands, they get on it. Sitting right next to Steven, the dude gets shot like 5 times. He's like, oh, I gotta lay down. He's like, you're not gonna die here. And then they fly, and there's like a picture of the sun that they're flying into. And that's the intro. Now Steven is living in Tokyo, and he gets a call from FBI agent wanting him to check on the Yakuza, because there was a governor in, I can't remember where it was, might have been Tokyo. Anyway, there was a governor that was assassinated by a guy. He got shot once, they got away. The Yakuza bad guy ends up taking him out because he's a loose end, I guess. And they basically just kill everybody in the apartment at that time. Steven is told to find out why the Yakuza is getting into politics. So that's the main reason the FBI sent him down there. And they sit him down with a buddy who has no idea what he's doing, of course. He might as well have a red shirt on Star Trek, this guy. He's been in a bunch of other stuff. Not even really a bad actor. Guy's actually pretty decent actor. But yeah, it was marked for death. Steven and his FBI buddy go to the crime scene, and he's like, give me copies of everything here, and I need all the surveillance footage. So he goes in a back room and he's watching the surveillance footage. I'll include a clip here, but it's very pixelated, like you can't even really see the dude's face, and he's like, zoom in on his necklace. So the dude like zooms in, I want to say twice. and it when it gets like right here, it's way better than back here. So I don't know how that works, but I'll show you. It's hilarious.
Not from him. I take a look at that.
So Steven's taking this guy around to all these restaurants and stuff, and apparently he grew up in Japan in the movie. So at one point he like purposely bumps into this young kid, probably 18, 19. They go in and they're eating. The kid shows back up with some of his friends because he was upset about it. So Steven goes out and floppy hands him. Till they're unconscious. But the FBI agent is out there running around with his gun drawn and accidentally fires it, and luckily he didn't shoot anybody, but it's a weird scene to include for no reason, I guess just to show his inexperience. But he was like, sorry, I just got excited. So it was like in public doing the equivalent of a desk pop. If you know what a desk pop is, you're one of my real ones.
Fight, come back in 10 years.
So it turns out the young Yakuza guy, whose name is Kuroda, is smuggling heroin and powder substances in fish to wherever, and he's trying to open his horizons to include China and America. So the Yakuza guys are running around taking people out, especially some of the older Yakuza gentlemen. In the meantime, Steven has an informant at a club. She's the club owner, seems to be anyways. And they go for a walk, and basically he proposes to her, she accepts, and then we just move on from there. At this point, I'll go back a little ways and tell you that the kid that Steven started to fight with, that he knocked out in the public market, went to the Yakuza guy and apologized for his behavior, taking his pinky and separating it from his body. And Kuroda responded by chapow in the face. And he ended up throwing the pinky in a trash can. So at this point, the FBI guy sneaks into Kuroda's operation, finds the pinky in the trash can, tells Steven about it, but his phone dies. So he ends up going to an address that he found on a piece of paper, and gets caught. They take him. Kuroda shows up. He's also got one of the Chinese men with him, bosses, and the FBI guy gets up and pushes the guy, and F you, and no F you, and no F you, and so the Chinese guy basically just breaks his neck. Now there's several times throughout the movie, everybody's like flashing guns and like, yeah, look at my guns, and then when Steven shows up, they're like, oh, I got a sword, and they all fight with swords. So I'm not sure what the point of that is, but, and in the first quarter of the movie, they tell him he's a sword master and he's just amazing. They call him Big. The FBI guy, main guy, calls him Big Papa at one point, which was very kind of awkward. Gentleman shows up and tells him that the club owner, his fiance, was killed. So now we're on this revenge mission. He goes to Kuroda's place, and yeah, they end up going and again, pagoda style, like level tier by tier, and they start taking people out. The tattoo artist has a sword of his own. They're only using swords. Even all the people that have previously had guns and nothing but guns, and have even stated they don't know how to use a sword, are pulling swords. So the tattoo artist makes it to Kuroda first, and he's like, "I'm here to finish you." And the guy's like, got a sword in his hand, or not, he may not even have that. He just pulls a gun and shoots the guy in that shoulder, chest area, somewhere in here. Guy falls down. He's like, "Now watch this." So he puts the gun down, pulls out a sword, and sits there and waits on Steven to come in. Steve comes in. They have a sword fight. Yakuza guy dies, and that's pretty much it. Like, the FBI sends a cleanup crew. They spray blue slime all over everything, which somehow contaminates all the DNA on the scene. And I mean, they spray everything, the walls, the people, the weapons. It's a very awkward scene. I've never seen anything like that before, but yeah, they do it. That's pretty much it. I have enjoyed my drink. I hope you enjoyed yours. We'll see you next time. I'll have a drink of paint. Thanks for tuning in.